Fran Pugliese, where are you? Come on up here. Fran is one of the most successful women's basketball coaches ever in upstate New York. He's in a couple Hall of Fames now. He's universally well-liked and respected, and he's one of those men I was talking about earlier who has enriched the lives of other people, other students, other friends that are still to this day close to Fran. So, Fran, here you go.
Thank you, Rennie. I need to start by congratulating all the other inductees and everyone else that was in this Hall of Fame. It's an honor to be with you. I'm so happy my family is all here. My lovely wife, Helen, my three beautiful daughters, Rosie, Katie, and Patty, my son-in-laws, very successful, handsome son-in-laws, Joe, Andrew, and Adam, and my grandchildren, Abby, Hannah, Gus, and our newest grandchild, Logan. He's 3. He's been pretty good so far. I'd like to thank Rennie and the Upstate New York Basketball Hall of Fame Committee for this tremendous honor. To say I was surprised when Rennie called to tell me would be an understatement. We had just exchanged comments regarding another inductee, Coach Norm Law. Norm had allowed me to take his coaching class at Plattsburgh by being his team manager and scorekeeper. So when he gave me the news of my induction, I was almost speechless. It was my second year of teaching at Draper when AD, Dave Guest, came to me and said, "How'd you like to coach girls basketball, Fran?" I reminded Dave that he had cut me from his JV team 9 years earlier. He responded, "Fran, you've been my scorekeeper these last 9 years. Haven't you learned a thing? I'll help you. Besides, you just need to stay one day ahead of the girls. You're a good teacher, Fran. Just make the court an extension of your classroom." I never forgot those words. I taught. I asked Dave if I could have a JV team. He said no, there was no money in the budget, only for varsity. So for $250, I coached the JV from 3 to 4:30, the varsity from 4:30 to 6. The following year, he gave me a JV coach, and I hired him. That first year, my JV was 0-12, my varsity 3-11. For my first game, I got on the bus with 25 girls to go to Ravenna, coached by the legendary coach, Betty Faxon. The varsity played first in those days since the same 2 officials officiated both games. My varsity was beaten 72-11, and the JV 56-13. Funny how you remember those things. It wasn't a fun ride home, but we started a tradition of singing the alma mater on the bus rides home. In those days, if you had a girl who played like a boy, you got the ball in her hands as often as possible. For me, that was Lori Straza. She was an excellent golfer and a pretty good hooper. It was a game of set shots, rule violations, and right-handed dribbling. The regular season extended into March, and girls went on vacations back then. They'd go to Florida during February break, and they'd come back out of shape. But every day we got better and better. The last game of the season, we actually beat Mechanicville, coached by Jack Legacy, when we hit 2 free throws after the final horn. And they'd beaten us by 36 earlier in the year. We had a good run at Draper, won a handful of league titles and a sectional title. Having Hall of Famer Kathy Kaskowski helped. My dear friend Billy Twaits coached our JV, and he went 51-2 over 3 years. My first star at Draper was Nancy LaMarca. Her dad, Nick, starred in college and locally. Nancy coached my JV team with me my last year. Also that last year in 1986, I, along with Ken Struby and Kurt Bailey, met with Gene Levy of the Times-Union to come up with the first ever all-area girls basketball team. I was done coaching after Draper closed. I spent a year helping Billy at Mohonasen part-time, but an opportunity to assist Rick Randall at Columbia, where I taught, sucked me right back in. I told my wife Helen it was just an assistant position. I wouldn't be gone as much, but a year later Rick stepped down and the girls asked me to stay, and I stayed. We had another nice run at Columbia. The game had really grown leaps and bounds. Shenandoah had emerged as an area powerhouse, forcing the rest of us to keep up. Summer camps, clinics, AAU, and other opportunities were around. I was playing Ken Struby as Shen every year. Ken had scrimmaged with me at Draper. We'd become very good friends. From 1986 to 1996, his teams at Shenandoah did not lose a league game in the Suburban Council. In 1996, my team finally got a win. We beat Shen. Gary Plimpton's Burnt Hills team also beat him that year. The area was catching up. We managed a sectional title in 1994, which was Columbia's first in 15 years. To give you an example of the growth of girls basketball, it was 1990, and one of my players, Athena Drasitano, had been practicing her behind-the-back dribble and was ready to use it in a game. I told her, go ahead, pick a good spot. Well, she did, and the whistle blew. I got up and yelled, what did she do? The ref said, she traveled. I said, no way. He said, yes, there's no way a girl can do that. And I just shook my head. Yes, girls can do that. I'm a firm believer in team chemistry. I say my strength over the years as a coach was in building team chemistry. My championship team at Columbia had girls from grades 8 to grade 12 on it. That year during the preseason, I buddied them up weekly. They do buddy drills in practice, but outside of practice, they bring cookies to their buddies. They did homework together. They leave little encouraging notes in their lockers. They developed relationships, and team chemistry was built. They all had a piece of that championship. After leaving coaching in 1998, I kept my hands in it by coaching JV at Mahonison, 3 years coaching CYO, 3 years youth league coaching, and 3 years assisting my good friend, John Killian, who's now the coach at Troy. I helped him by helping him coach the JV at Shelmont for 3 years. Now I'm so lucky to be working with my granddaughters, Abby and Hannah, as they develop their game. So you see, I never have left it. I also coached my youngest daughter, Patty, in CYO and AAU. The memories I have of working with Joe Hogan's camp at Siena, where I saw the twins at age 11. You all know who the twins are, I hope. The Barnes girls, okay? I saw the twins at age 11 who did so much for girls basketball. The Sam Perkins camp for girls we ran at Columbia, where Sam would always dunk for the girls. The campfire talks with Jim Zulo up at Greg Kubek's camp up at Brant Lake. All the meetings with referees and coaches and parents and players. See, it's all about people. I need to thank first and foremost the women who sacrificed so much and did a great job raising our 3 lovely daughters. My wife, Helen. Heck, the night when Katie was born, I was coaching. The nun who coached Bishop Scully asked how my wife was, knowing she was pregnant. When I responded, she delivered that morning. She smacked me in the shoulder and said, "You're here?" My daughters, who shared me with all the girls I coached and never complained, at least out loud. My oldest, Rosie, ran out in the court when she was only 2. After that, attendance at my games was limited. My mom and my brother, who were 2 of my biggest fans. Dave Guest, who took a chance on a real rookie. Bob Smith, who helped me give the girls at Columbia everything the boys had, plus his 4 daughters, which I coached. At Columbia, I was blessed to have the same freshman coach for 10 years as head coach, Scott Siver. Scott's here somewhere tonight. Scott gave our girls a great year of learning and success. My good friend Dennis Barrett, who coached my first modified team at Columbia and was my JV and varsity assistant coach. Thank you to all my players I've had the pleasure of coaching. All the other coaches I faced or coached with. All the referees, we laughed. Even the ones who gave me technicals, I didn't have too many. The parents who supported our efforts, and all the friends I've made over the years due to this wonderful game of basketball. I've been so fortunate to have been a part of its growth. Thank you.